Elliot Grinch.
All right, what's going on, everyone? GameboyEG here, back with another LSPDFR GTA 5 quick tutorial. Of course, it may not be that quick, but, you know, we learned a lot, of course, with using LSPDFR and various mods, things of that nature. So I'm installing and updating my LSPDFR game to GTA 5 version 2245. So therefore, I'm going to record it, of course. So as you can see, LSPDFR has been updated. ScriptHook 5 has been updated. In case you didn't know, community ScriptHook, which is also needed for scripts, running scripts, and RageNativeUI. All right, make sure you're always using the latest versions of the various software, mods, programs, whatever you want to call it. So anyway, all these I pretty much have downloaded already, so I'm not going to re-download them, but you will need the latest build for LSPDFR, which is build 7749, okay? We're going to also install Lenny's mod loader, which is at version or build 7531. ScriptHook 5, which will take you to this site right here, which is devc.com. And you will download 2245 community ScriptHook 5 will take you over here to the latest build, which is version 3.1.0, and of course RageNativeUI 1.7. All right, so make sure you have all of those downloaded. All right, I'm going to close all this stuff out, and make sure you go over to the LSPDFR 0.4 Wiki. All right, make sure you take a look at some of the features. It's various message boards. It may be able to assist you with certain problems you may be having or things you are looking for. I go to it from time to time, certain things that I forget, certain things that I need, would like to know. And this would, pretty much be where you go for any type of questions you may have. Or you could always post up on a message board. Somebody, hopefully will look at it and they'll get back to you, if they have a solution. All right, so check that stuff out. This is how I was able to find out how to get rid of what I call like the ghost MP free modes that were just popping up all over the place. I did a video about that. Go take a look at it if you're having that problem, because that has to do with the various spawns, ambient spawns that are configured in LSPDFR, as the default. But you can remove those ambient spawns, and that's what I did. Got rid of those ghost MP3 modes that were popping up on, standing on cars and various things like that, and it helped me out. So anyway, let's close that out. What you want to make sure you are doing is you using a fresh install of GTA 5. Works for me. Start from scratch. You start from scratch, and that will be that's the starting point, I should say. Get a brand new fresh fully updated 2245 version GTA 5, and we start from there. Okay. Also, well, I forgot one more. Let me post this up as well. You also want to download the latest version of Ragepluginhook. Okay, well, I forgot to put that up there. It's a good thing. All right, so make sure you have the latest version of Ragepluginhook. Okay, download that here. So it removes support from 2215, and we will be using 2245 as the latest version. All right, so let me go ahead and open up a folder for that. All right, and always back up. Like if you still have a version of 2215, make sure you back up the key. I'll show you that, the key figures of that, just in case you want to, 2245 doesn't work out for you. Like I'm actually still playing off of version 2060. We'll take a look at that in a minute. Ragepluginhook. Okay, so let me unraw this. All right, 2245. There we go. All right, so I'm going to minimize that. So as you can see, like I'm actually still playing off of old versions of the game, actually. I'll show you guys quickly. And these are backup games for me. So I'm pretty much still playing with 2060, actually. 2060.1. Right? I was playing with 2215, then all those versions of the game, something went left, and I just deleted all of them. So I've been playing 2060.1 for some time now. But anyway, so now I'm here. I'm at 2245. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to install LSPDFR, and then Ragepluginhook will overwrite LSPDFR. So you could use the manual version, which is what I prefer, or you could use the setup version. The only difference is with the setup version, it lets you configure the actual call out multiplier, but that's no big deal. You can do that yourself. So we're going to use the manual version. We're going to use everything LSPDFR plugins. You don't have to install the README or the licenses, okay? So I'm going to use control. All right, so we're going to be installing. Oh, I didn't want the license. Okay, there we go. So hold down control and just drag if it will let me. Okay, let me start again. There we go. Control. I keep missing one, right? Oh my goodness gracious. I'm going to do it this way. There we go. Bump it. Do it like that. All right. 25 out of the 27. All right. So you don't need license and you don't need the README. Then we're going to drag and copy that into our main directory. All right. So you officially have LSPDFR installed. Okay. But the game will crash if you don't do certain things. All right, and we'll get into our game configuration in a moment. All right, so we're going to close this out. We no longer need that. Next thing we're going to use is Ragepluginhook. Okay, that's what we just had open. So let me minimize this. All right, so we need Ragepluginhook version 2245. Any other version will not work. All right, so remember that. You must use the correct version of Ragepluginhook for the correct version of the game, or it won't load. It'll give you a message, and it won't even load itself. So keep that in mind. All right. You do not need, once again, you don't need the licenses. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And you don't need SDK. That's for developers only. And you don't need the README. Take a look at the README, but you don't need the README. Okay. So we have 15 files. And the plugins folder is empty, so don't worry about it. All right, so we'll copy. And we will paste, replace the files in the destination, yes. Give it another click, and there we go. All right, so we now have Ragepluginhook updated to the latest version, as you can see right here. All right, so we'll close this out. We no longer need that. Next, we're going to install, because if you need this as well, you need ScriptHook 5. All right, so where's my 2245? Okay, 2215. Oh, what is, oh, goodness. All right. So, oh, wait, is it here? No, it's not here. All right, I have to download it myself. All right, forgive me. I thought I had everything set up, but apparently not. Okay, so we'll just go right here. Either way. I don't want to go through all this. All right. And let me open up my download. I had everything set up, but apparently, glitches in the matrix is making this a little difficult right now. All right, so 2245. All right, let's extract that. And we're up here. Okay, there we go. All right. So I never use the native trainer. If you do, more power to you. I just need these two files here. Okay, ScriptHook 5, latest version, and dinput 8. So we'll paste that there. Okay, and we are good to go with ScriptHook 5. Now also for many of the scripts, for them to work, you also need to install, as we looked at, ScriptHook v.net. All right, so the latest version is right here, 3.1.0, which I already have. Okay, we're going to install all of these except for the license and the README. So we copy, paste that in there, continue, and that's so your scripts will work. So you might as well create a scripts folder. So we'll go ahead and create a scripts folder. So that's where your scripts will go. There's plenty of scripts out there to use, and that's where you'll place your scripts. So your scripts go here, plugins go here. As you can see, LSPDFR is in the plugins folder. We'll get to that later. And you can go ahead and create a folder, LSPDFR. And that will be for, this folder will be for various LSPDFR, your call outs and other mods that were created in the LSPDFR format. Okay, and moving right along, we're going to install, which a lot of the, some modders like to include it, but if they don't, no big deal. RageNativeUI. I found it best just to install the one file, RageNativeUI.dll. I don't install the extra corresponding files. I found it's not needed. And sometimes it could cause a glitch in the matrix with your game as well. So just install RageNativeUI. Pretty much what I've discovered with RageNativeUI, I'm, like I said, I'm not a developer, I'm not a modder, I'm just somebody who plays the game, and I'm just sharing my experiences and information as far as playing the game with you guys. So RageNativeUI corresponds with pretty much the menu screen from it could be the color codes that the developer used for the mod. So hence, like, let's put it like this. So Stop the Ped, created by Bjojo. He uses version what is it? I think it's 1.6. I don't know. He may have updated to 1.70, or I may have it backwards. Either it's 1.70 or he uses. Matter of fact, let's just open it up. Let me open up my mods folder. I just want to show you guys, because you get some, because that's why you can't use like various older mods, because a lot of them relied on an older version of RageNativeUI, the color code for the menu, for the UI, background, things of that nature. There's various reasons, but it won't work. You'll get a crash. Let me get to my mods, LSPDFR. So I just want to show you briefly, so so you have some type of clarity, because I wish somebody would have showed me a lot of this stuff. Saved me a lot of headaches over, at night. So here we go. Stop the Ped. So he uses 1.6.30. So if I started the game up, I believe you will have like your either the UI will not load up. So I'm just saying, so if you get that problem, we'll take a look at it. Matter of fact, I'll install Stop the Ped, and we'll load the game up, because I believe once I get into the game, and unless it's been fixed, like I said, but I've had this problem where I have to revert back to RageNativeUI 1.6.3. And that's because he's not using version 1.7.0. So the color coding for the UI is different. So my menu for Stop the Ped is invisible. It's functioning, but I can't see it because the something about the colors of the UI are not found. So we'll get into that a little later as well. So I just want to point that out. So if you get that type of problem, or if you see like you get like an error message for, there's various ones, but if you get an error message for RageNativeUI, it's because one of the mods you may have installed does not depend on RageNativeUI, the current version 1.70. You may need to install the previous version. So you got to take a look at what RageNativeUI came with the mod. All right, so keep that in mind as well. If you have that, if you do get that error or get that that crash, okay, so you may have to use 1.63. All right, so that's just another little tidbit. So I will keep this open because we will install Stop the Ped and take a look at that. All right, so we'll close this out. We're done with that. Moving on to Lenny's mod loader. I use this because definitely it comes in handy for a lot of things. Definitely in particular for those who play Coastal Call Out. And there are a couple other mods that it just makes things simpler to install. It does really make things simpler to install. And I really haven't found it a problem with like I said, with frames per second, anything like that. It doesn't slow down my game. All right, so real simple with LML. Everything goes into your main directory except for this little file here. You don't need that. All right, so we're going to do our control. We'll get rid of that one. And so we're only installing the 7 files here. So copy, paste, and you now have LML installed. The mod manager, I just put it on my desktop. Where is it at? Somewhere on my desktop here. Does anybody see it? Okay, there we go. That's it right there. So it says you can paste it anywhere you want. You can put it in your directory folder. It's up to you. But I have various games that have the mod, that have LML installed. So I just put the mod manager folder right there on the desktop if I need it. Okay. So everything that needs to go in the game is pretty much installed. Couple of things we have to install as well. We must install a good game config. All right, you need a good game configuration if you're going to add a bunch of DLC packs. All right, so the next thing we will have to download, if you don't already have it downloaded already, you need Open4, which is the standard modding tool, so you need to have that in your install already. But if you don't, just do a Google search, Open4. Okay, Open4 right there. So you download, we're at version 4.0, download that, install it, and you'll be here with the rest of us, all right? Okay, because it's a new game, be sure to run it as administrator, okay? So right-click, more, run as administrator. Yes, so that Open4 can install what it needs to install so that it can control the folders and files, add an encryption key, and do all of its magic. I forgot that I have a fresh install of the game, so I have to do this now. Then you do what can I do? Set the permissions so that it removes the administrative permissions, close it out, reopen it regularly, and you should be good to go. And ta-da, boom. All right, so we're going to go into edit mode automatically. All right, we're going to load ASI Manager. ASI Loader is already installed. If that's not highlighted in green as mine is, then install it. If it's blue like these, make sure you install that. Install this. I allow only in edit mode. You don't want to mess up your permanent files. Open camera, install. Once you've done that, close it out, and you are good to go with using Open 4. Now, just for this, we're only doing the game config. We're going to add the game config, and then we're going to do the pack limit adjuster and heap adjuster as well. So I have various. Oh, this is a LML. You can also use PW Parks fan. He also has a game config. I'm not sure. I got to take a look if he actually did a 2245, but the last one he did was 2215. But let me get out of here. But I have other game configs. I have no, I'm not going to refer or recommend one game config over another. Just make sure you have one that says it is ready for version 2245. You don't want to use an older version because things change. All right, so I have a 2245 somewhere. Where is it? Okay, all of these up here. All right, so this is the latest one that I have. So I'm gonna just use this, and give credit where credit is due. So this is who was this created by? Let's see. This was created by F7 Yo. Okay, game config 2245 for limitless vehicles. Okay, version 25.5. Right, there are other ones out there. Like I said, I'm not choosing one over another. All right, we're just going with this one right here. So this lets you control the amount of PEDs and traffic. So as you can see, he has the stock traffic. We're gonna just go with the stock traffic right there. All right, so the game config goes. All right, this will be your mods folder. Right now it's empty until you start putting mod folders in there. And the way you do that is by navigating to that particular location. So the game config is located in update RPF, common, data, and here you see game config. All right, so make sure you do copy to mods folder. All right, because if you drop it in here, that's the regular GTA 5 game config that you are overwriting. The game version, the actual game version, not the modded version. So as you can see, now we are in the mods folder. Before, the location we were at was in the actual game files. Okay, so if you take a look, we go to GTA 5. So now when we go to mods, you'll see a folder. All right, so we have update RPF, common, data, game config. And now you can drag and drop right there. So now we have a better game config that can handle any type of, it should be able to handle the excessive DLC packs that we add to the game if we do add it. If you do add more add-ons to the game. All right. So we're good with that. So we're going to close this out. And next thing we want to do is we want to add the heap adjuster. And the heap adjuster and the, what do you call that? The pack file limit adjuster. Okay, so I always forget where I put this stuff at. Let me see. Game. I have another folder here for game config, and that's where. And this is where I keep those files, which is the heap adjuster. Let me make sure it's the right one now, because there's various heap adjusters out there. So hold on. Let me let's I should have had these up as well. Heap adjuster, heap limit adjuster. So okay, so here we have this one, and we also need pack file limit adjuster as well. Okay, so this is to also help limit game errors. All right, so heap limit adjuster. Let me find that. I have that somewhere here, right there. Okay, let me make sure, because there was a better one, if I'm not mistaken. Let me make sure. Okay, yeah, so we're going to go, so it's this one, heap limit adjuster, So you're going to copy. It's an ASI. It goes right into your game directory. Okay. And pack file, I believe it's 1.1, right? Yep, 1.1. Okay. So we'll be using 1.1. And they're already set to default, so I wouldn't change them. Just leave them as is, and they pretty much work accordingly. Okay, so pretty much when you start your game up, you should be good to go with just this. But we're going to, before we start the game up, we're going to make sure we also put in stop the ped. And we're going to take a look at that situation that I was telling you guys about earlier, as far as for RageNativeUI, just to show you. Plug in LSPDFR, and we're going to place that right there. Hopefully we don't need ultimate backup for it to function, but you know what, I have the latest version of ultimate backup, so we're going to put that in the game as well. Let's go ahead and do that, just so you know, for argument's sake. What we will also have to do is we'll have to create a character before we can even actually like go on duty. So we'll put this in here, and I don't even remember the actual standard ultimate backup, or I may have to copy over my key configuration, but we'll see. We'll cross that, you know, later. Another tidbit for me, that's why it's always good to save old versions of your game. So the INI file and the, like I was telling you, looking at the wiki, here's where you control standard features within the LSPDFR game itself alone, like the ambient spawn, chase. How long do you want the characters to have to chase somebody before they trip? You know, that old feature. Look at this, frisking. See, this was definitely this was added in one of the newer previous LSPDFRs, where frisking disabled COVID-19 items, you know. Disable ambient script hooks, disable game blip hiding. There's various things you could turn on and off. It's up to you. Whether or not you want the cops to actually be at the police stations, you can enable or disable. Those are ambient spawns. But all this stuff can be configured. You could, you know, these are the defaults. You could turn them on, turn them off, but by placing, make sure you copy the line and then place it up here. This is just showing you the defaults. You can also tune these as well within the game menu. In the game, you can also do it that way as well. There's, you know, two different ways that you can actually enable or disable certain INI, you know, LSPDFR features. That's up to you. Okay, and then you have your keys to control your controller keys or keyboard shortcuts. So they all come with modifier keys. You know, whether you're doing it for the, you know, the controller or for the keyboard. All right, so that's where you do this at. All right, so you could, you know, tune these as you know, to however you want to do it. I just need to know. Hold on, let me see. Because like I said, I have my own configuration. I just copy it over from somewhere else. Which you know what, I'm gonna do that now. I'm going to, you know, because the keys are the same. The keys haven't changed. So I'm going to go to my one of my previous games. Here, I have a default LSPDFR. So I'm just going to copy my keys over. So this way, when I use my controller, I'll know what I'm doing. All right, and we'll minimize that for the moment. Here is the audio. This is where audio files go. So there is another mod that adds more street names. So make sure you put that in there. That's just for me for more immersion. I've also found like there are some older mods that have scanner files that used to go into a police scanner folder. And I found that some of those actually work. You just have to create a path for it, like the way it used to be. So you would have to make a folder that says police scanner, but you would place that here. Data, these are the defaults. If you plan on changing something, take a look at the wiki, and it shows you how you can use the custom folder where you would leave these files alone. You like say like stations, you would copy, create the name under the there's a default way to create the name of the file, place that in the customs, and you can actually add police stations. I go over creating police stations in a previous tutorial. So take a look at that if you're interested in making your own, police stations. That's up to you. So I'm just trying to place a few tidbits in this update. And I believe that's it. So let's go ahead and let's run Rage plugin. So you're going to go through this disclaimer, accept. I'm going to click OK. It's going to do its thing. Make sure you do a backup. Oh, and then, we're going to come to the which plugins we want to automatically load. Let me just show you one other thing. Back up these files. So like say if you're like myself, if you still like if you have 2215, it's best to save the files. I actually have a location where I keep because you never know. I always say that in a lot of videos. You just never know what could happen. So I have game backups, GTA 5, as you can see. And something like you can actually go back to certain versions of the game and still play. These versions, the 877 and 1604, obviously is just too old. It doesn't work any longer. But 2060, you want to keep the GTA 5 language select, GTA 5 launcher, play GTA 5, and keep the original, not the modded version of the update.rpf. So say if you have your 2215 game still in, just make sure before hopefully you didn't update over it, but make sure you keep these 5 files. And then I have there's a video tutorial I have. I'll try to put the link up above as well. And it shows you how to play GTA 5 on a previous version of 2060 by using no GTA 5 launcher, which is this right here. So that's what I use to play version 2060. Okay, or version 2060.1. Okay, so that would be that. And we're going to go to plugins. Load these plugins on startup. So we're going to load LSPDFR on startup. Save and launch. And if we did everything correctly, the game should load up. Okay, so I just had to start the game up normally because it was, the game looks for update on its own. So once we'll do this now. So it's a good thing that happened. And, so now we'll start up Ragepluginhook. And it should be able to it should now be able to access GTA 5, and it should open up the game window without a problem. Okay, I love when little things happen. So for a moment, I was stuck on the Ragepluginhook splash screen. All right, don't beat yourself up if that happens. If it happens, all you have to do is launch. If it says that it's trying to launch the Rockstar game launcher, just leave that splash screen up and launch the game yourself. Just double click on Rockstar game launcher, double click on it just to open up the launcher. And then you should be good to go. So I did that. Also, if you need to, also restart your computer. Then do the process I just told you, which is start the Ragepluginhook. If you get stuck on that splash screen, double click on the Rockstar game launcher so that it opens up the launcher itself, and Ragepluginhook should automatically connect. And then thereafter, because that's what I just did now, I had to test it, and after that, the plugin should be able to open up Rockstar Game Launcher on its own, like right now. So we'll go through this process right here, because this wasn't opening up on its own. It did like it had to do an update, but my game is already updated. But it's a self check, I guess, to make sure the game is updated. And now it opens up normally by just double clicking on the Ragepluginhook. So that's why we were on the splash screen for a moment, and I just had to go behind the scenes, and check out what was going on. But everything was installed. There was nothing that I had to add. And then once the game opened up, I saw the police station, so I knew LSPDFR had loaded up properly. All right. And so just make sure you understand that the next thing that you have to do is you have to create your own character or use a default character. But you have to start from one of the police stations. Okay, you can't just do F4 and then which is the open up the Ragepluginhook menu and just go on duty. You can't do it that way. You have to actually choose a character first. So choose a default character or create your own character, one of the two, and start out and make sure you start out from the police station. But when doing so. I also like to have the trainers installed, a trainer, but just trying to get through this tutorial. So I don't want to install everything that I would install on my game. If you need assistance with that, then definitely talk to me behind the scenes, and I'll do what I can for you to assist. So it says loading LSPDFR. That's good. And here we are. So we're going to start from this police station and try not to hit none of these guys. Don't get into nothing until you're actually on the force. So go on duty, and it's going to, tell us that we have to create a character or select a character. All right, so you can choose between a male or a female. So you guys know me, so I'm going to go ahead and create 48. So we're going to go ahead and create 48. All right. And I just make everything standard. His appearance. And oh, there we go. Regular, clean shaven, none. Okay, we save. And that'll be 48. And we're going to use 48. Okay, so there we go. And so Stop the Pad has installed and Ultimate Backup has loaded up. And we'll put on his cop uniform. Go to the police garage, select the vehicle. Yeah, I thought so. I was like, maybe I didn't save it with his uniform on. I thought I did. All right, but anyway, we're gonna perform we're gonna just stop somebody in the street. I want to just see if that like I was telling you guys about the RageNativeUI. We can just use Stop the Pad. I believe it's D-pad right. It's one of the two.
Don't move.
So there you go. All right, so you see D-pad right, button to open. Okay, nope. All right, it's good to go. That's good. Okay, because, all right, as long as it's working. Because, like I said, sometimes with the RageNative, if you have that issue with the menu, like if whatever mod you may be using and the menu is not working, this is the UI is not working where you can't see it. It may be because the RageNativeUI doesn't work with that particular mod. All right, but that's good. I'm glad to see that it's working. Okay, great. All right, so anyway, that's the installation for LSPDFR version 2245. So hopefully this tutorial helped you. Hopefully I gave you some information, some tidbits, and you know, try to do what I can. So anyway, be sure to like, comment, share. Hit me up on Discord. Make sure you get with my Patreon page. All my supporters, I appreciate it. And like I said, we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're almost at 500. I appreciate all the new subscribers. Tell a friend to tell another friend. GameboyEG signing out on another one. You guys take care. Be safe.